On a balcony in the Hagia Sophia in Istanbul, can clearly be seen Old Norse graffiti dating from the 9th century, reading, "Halfdan was here." But what was a Norseman doing in Byzantine, so far away from home? Norse graffiti in the boundaries of the Byzantine Empire is no novel. Examples of this can be seen on the Piraeus Lion. It was originally located in the harbor of Athens, but its tenure in Venice has faded away its lindworm and runic carvings. Halfdan, and most likely the artist from the Piraeus Lion, were members of an elite group of soldiers known as the Varangian Guard. The Varangian Guard was a unit of mercenaries known for their loyalty and combat ability. It was comprised largely of Norsemen and other northern Europeans who served as personal bodyguards to the Byzantine Emperors for about 400 years. Before we get into the details of the Varangian Guard, let's first discuss what a Varangian is. Varangian was a term used by southern Europeans to describe voyagers of Scandinavian descent. You see, usually we associate the Vikings with their raids and expeditions to England, Iceland, Vinland, and modern-day France, but they were just as involved to the east. Vikings would travel down main waterways of the eastern Baltic Sea into Eastern Europe and modern-day Russia. In addition to their usual deranged festivities, the Norse voyagers established these trade routes by following the Volga, Dnieper, and the Danube rivers, to name a few. This connected the north with Asia Minor and the Mediterranean. By the 9th century, Vikings had formed their own state along this route with local Slavic, Finnic, and Baltic tribes, known as Kievan Rus. The job of the guards was responsible for protecting the Byzantine emperors and their families, as well as important state officials. Basically a secret service, if you will. They were also responsible for guarding the palace, the imperial treasury, and other important locations. As the emperor's personal bodyguards, they had to be prepared to defend them at all costs, even if it meant sacrificing their own lives. In the year 987, there was a rebellion in the Byzantine Empire against the Emperor Basil II. The emperor then requested an alliance with Prince Vladimir I of Kiev. Early in the year 989, Vladimir sent about 6,000 warriors bound by oath. In exchange for the warriors, Vladimir was given Basil's sister Anna in marriage, where he also agreed to convert to Christianity and to bring his people in the Christian faith. These troops were critical in putting down the rebellion, marking it as a foundational moment in Byzantine and Varangian histories. After the Norman conquest caused mass Anglo-Saxon emigration, many who found their way to the Byzantium found refuge and employment. Up until the Norman conquest of England, the Varangian Guards consisted mainly of Scandinavian and Kievan Rus' soldiers, but eventually Anglo-Saxons would make up the majority of the Guard many years later. The Varangian Guard was known for their distinctive appearance and weaponry. They relied on the broad-bladed Dane axe as their main weapon of choice, despite the fact that they were also skilled swordsmen or archers. The Danish axe's light and thin blade made cutting through the enemy easier, also allowing for each guard to pair it with a shield. Initially they used circular shields, but by the 1100s they switched to kite shields and single-edged swords. The Varangian Guard was reserved from battle, being limited to only the most critical moments or when the battle was most fierce. Chroniclers note that Scandinavians were frightening both in appearance and in equipment. They attacked with reckless rage and neither cared about losing blood nor their wounds. After the death of the Byzantine emperors, it was customary for the Varangians to pillage the palace treasury in an Old Norse rite. The Varangian Guard proved important for the Byzantine Empire during several key battles. In the 11th century, the Varangians saw extensive service in southern Italy as the Normans and Lombards tried to extinguish Byzantine authority there. The Varangians also participated in the partial reconquest of Sicily from the Arabs under George Maniakes in 1038. Here, they fought alongside Normans recently arrived in Italy seeking adventure and Lombards from Byzantine-held Apulia. A notable member of the Guard at the time was Harald Hardrada. Harald was a Norwegian king, but his journey to the throne was anything but direct. Born in 1015, Harald was thrust into a life of combat and adventure from an early age. At just 15, he fought alongside his half-brother, King Olaf II, at the Battle of Stiklestad. Unfortunately, they were defeated, and Harald was forced to flee Norway. His exile led him east to the Byzantine Empire, where he would make his mark as a member of the Varangian Guard. Hardrada first sought to keep his royal identity a secret, but sources agree that Harold and his men's reputation was well known. Rather than protect the emperor like his fellow Varangian predecessors, Harold was found fighting on nearly every frontier of the empire. He fought Arab pirates at inland towns in Asia Minor, traveling as far east as the Tigris and Euphrates rivers. After some time, Harold would be considered the leader of the Varangian Guard. Harold became extremely rich during his time in the east, and secured the wealth collected in Byzantium by shipments to the Kievan Ruses for safekeeping. During his time there, he participated 3 times in palace plunders, or the pillaging of the treasury after the death of an emperor by Varangian guardsmen. The wealth he gained while serving in Byzantium likely funded his claim for the crown of Norway. Harold's wealth, reputation, and skills, honed as a part of the Varangian Guard, eventually paved the way for his return to Norway, where he claimed the throne and ruled for 2 decades. So next time you're in Istanbul and see Old Norse graffiti dating from the 9th century, you'll know that a member of the elite Varangian Guard was there. These Norsemen left a legacy in Byzantine history, and their fierce loyalty and military skill are still remembered to this day.